Combined standard deviation, give the heading. Now, how to find combined standard deviation? Understand it? Put your pens down. There's the last formula in the chapter, but how to find it? Understand it first. SC is equal to square root sigma, no, not sigma, n1 bracket s1 square plus d1 square plus n2 bracket s2 square plus d2 square upon n1 plus n2. Now, n1 we understand is number of observations of group 1. N2 is number of observations of group 2. What is S1 square? Variance of group 1. It is square. S1 square is the variance of group 1. S2 square is the variance of group 2. Now what is this D1 and D2? D stands for deviation. So D1 means x1 bar minus x bar c, deviation of first group's mean with combined mean. So x1 bar minus x bar c. And D2 in the same manner will be x2 bar minus x bar c. So D stands for deviation. Now deviation of first group's mean from combined mean and deviation of second group's mean from combined mean. Did all of you understand this? Now in exams generally people get confused here. What confusion they arise at is, during exams you'll get confused, should we do x1 bar minus x bar c or x bar c minus x bar? Right now you'll remember we have written it. But in exam at that time, at that moment of time when you're solving, you'll get confused. Was it x1 bar minus x bar c or was it x bar c minus x bar? What will you remember? No, do anything, it is correct. Even if you by mistake do x bar c minus x bar, because we are going to square it. So whether you do suppose 6 and 4, 6 minus 4, 2. 2 square. When you do 4 minus 6, minus 2 square, 4. So it does not make any difference. Don't get confused, do anything and not. Anything out of these two only. Or the second is x bar c minus x bar 2. Did you understand this? And then how do you find x bar c? We studied in the last chapter. n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar upon n1 plus n2. Understood this? How will you solve the example reverse? First you will find x bar c, because without x bar c you cannot get d1 and d2. And without d1 and d2 you cannot get combined standard deviation. So we go reverse. First we will find combined mean, then we will find d1 and d2, and then we will find combined standard deviation. Understood this? Write down in the summary. This is the last formula in the summary. After this only few notes will come. Written this? Now look at exercise 4.6. Question 1, page 156. The information regarding, one I am doing on the board, 2 you will try on the wrong. The information regarding marks of the students of 2 classes of school is given below. Find the combined standard deviation of marks obtained by the students. Now, we will have division A, division B, and if you remember we also used to write total. Last chapter when we did combined mean. So write division A, division B and total. Number of students means N1 is 50, N2 is 60, and total 50 plus 60, 110. Mean marks means X1 bar is 60, X2 bar is 48. Combined mean we have to find. Don't write 60 plus 48, 108. Okay, that we have to find by this formula. And standard deviation means S1 is 10, S2 is 12. combined standard deviation is what we have to find. Understood that, everyone? Also, in the formula what we need is S1 square and S2 square. So can I say S1 square will be 100 and S2 square will be 144. 10 square 100 and 12 square 144. Understood this? Now reverse order means first we'll find combined mean. Raise your hand who is still writing up till here. Completed? Now first we'll find combined mean. Write down x bar c is equal to n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar upon n1 plus n2. Okay, n1 x1 bar plus n2 x2 bar upon n1 plus n2. Now n1 is 50 into x1 bar is 60 plus n2 is 60, x2 bar is 48 upon n1 50 plus n2 60. Okay, n1 50, x1 bar 60 plus n2 60, x2 bar 48 upon n1 plus n2 50 plus 60. 3050 into 60, then 60 into 48, 2880 upon 50 plus 60, 110. 5880 upon 110. Is it 54 point? 53.45. Raise your hand who did not understand the combined mean. All are clear up till here? This we practiced in the last chapter also. Who all are still doing up till here? Completed? Now D1 and D2 we will find reverse order. X bar C is okay. So D1 and D2 we will find. D1 is equal to x1 bar minus combined mean. Okay. What is x1 bar minus combined mean? 53.45. 60 minus 53.45, 6.55. Understood this? Again in the formula we need D1 square. So 6.55 square. 42.25. I told you until the final answer take everything in 4 decimals. Okay. D2 is equal to x2 bar minus combined mean. x2 bar means 48 minus combined mean 53.45 minus 5.45 D2 square minus 5.45 square 29.7025. Any confusion in this? So now, see in the reverse order, combined mean is obtained, D1, D2 is obtained. Now we'll find combined standard deviation. Let out SC is equal to square root of N1 bracket S1 square plus D1 square plus N2 bracket S2 square plus D2 square upon N1 plus N2. Okay. Now N1 is 50. See S1 square we did here. What is it? 100. plus D1 square, what did we get? 42.9025 plus N2 we did here 60 into S2 square is 144 plus D2 square we got 29.7025 upon N1 plus N2 50 plus 60. 50 into 142.9025 plus 60 into 173.7025 upon 110. Any confusions? 100 plus 42.9025, 142.9025, 144 plus 29.7025, 173.7025. Now square root of 50 into 142.9025. 7145.125 plus shift 60 into 173.7025. 10422.15 upon 110 equals to square root of 17567.275 divided by 110. So square root of 17567.275 divided by 110. 159.7025 square root of this final answer taken two decimals. What is square root of that? 12.64. Understood this, everyone? How to find the combined standard deviation? Any confusions in this? I'll discuss the next one and you'll try it on your own. Who all are still doing this? But I discussed it, some differences there, so be attentive. The following information is available for two sections of a factory. Obtain the combined standard deviations of the production time. Now number of workers means what is 10? N1 40, N2. Mean production time per unit in minutes, what is 25? X1 bar and 20? X2 bar. Variance means what is 16? Variance means it is S1 square. Variance is standard deviation square. Don't square 16 again. 16 is directly S1 square. Same way 25 is directly S2 square. Don't square it again. Got it, everyone? Start solving. In 5 minutes it should be over. Do it fast. Completed? Yeah. What answer did you get? 5.2. So this was the last concept. Now miscellaneous questions of exercise 4 are remaining. So those we will take up step by step. Look at exercise 4, page 166. Section B. Okay, whatever miscellaneous questions of exercise 4 are remaining, some I'll give in homework because we have already done those concepts. So I'll discuss them and give in homework, and the different ones I'll solve. The important and different ones I'll solve. So look at section B, question 5. If the data of height of 10 students are given in length centimeters, then what is the unit of its variance? See, variance, is it an absolute measure or relative measure? Variance. Variance is absolute or relative measure? is variance. An absolute measure or relative measure? Variance is absolute. Standard deviation and variance. Take out the first page of this chapter in the notebook. 4 absolute and relative measures I made you write. What is the fourth one? Standard deviation in bracket. Variance. What is that absolute measure? And its relative measure is coefficient of variation. Now see above that table. In absolute measures I made you write it is expressed in same units. And in relative measure I made you write it is free from units of measurement. So variance is absolute measure means it is expressed in same units. But variance is standard deviation square. Variance is standard deviation square. So if actual units are centimeter, then variance will be expressed in centimeter square. Is the answer over? This is the answer. It will ask for 1 mark in exams. But you write the whole sentence. That if height of the 10 students is measured in centimeters, then its variance will be expressed in centimeter square. If they ask you the same question, how will the range be expressed? Centimeter. Quartile deviation? Centimeter. Mean deviation? Centimeter. Standard deviation? Centimeter. But variance is standard deviation square. So centimeter square. Did everyone understand this? Then question 6, 7 is done. 8 is also given in homework earlier, but I discussed that. And I made you write that note in the summary also. 7 students of a group get 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20 marks. In a test of 25 marks, fantastically they have copied. 7 students all have got 20 marks out of 25. And what is the standard deviation of their marks? Forget about standard deviation. Any measure of dispersion will be 0. If all the observations are same, any measure of dispersion will be 0 because there is no dispersion only. 20 and 20, do you find any difference between the first and second observation? Again, second and third, 20, 20. The difference is 0. So any range is also 0. Quartile deviation is also 0. Mean deviation is also 0. Standard deviation is also 0. Any measure of dispersion is 0. If all observations are same. Understood that? Is the answer. And the notes write down. In the summary as an important note at the end. If one page must be remaining in the summary or at least half page. Note 1. If all the observations are same, then any measure of dispersion will be 0. Okay? Any measure of dispersion will be 0. Any confusions? Look at section C. The 9th was done in the class given to you in homework earlier. Section C, 5, 6, 7, 8 are already given in the homework and done earlier. Look at 5, 6, 7 is done. 8th is remaining. Look at 8th question. If x bar is 25, write down x bar 25. Coefficient of variation means CV is 20%. Find the variance. Applying the formula of CV, what can we get? S. What is the formula of CV? S upon x bar into 100. CV is given, x bar is given, so S can be obtained. Once you obtain S, then what is variance? S square. So first let us apply CV's formula and find S. CV equals to S upon x bar into 100. What will you put in CV? 20. S we have to find upon X bar 25 into 100. Now here 25 is divided, so other side it will get multiplied. Here 100 is multiplied, so other side it will get divided. So can I say S equals to 20 into 25 divided by 100? That is 5. Yes, now look at section D, question 11 be attended. I have to just discuss it and you'll be doing it on your own. Put your pins down. In usual notations, sigma D is equal to 25. Sigma D square is equal to 272 and N is equal to 100. Further they say assumed mean means A is equal to 4. Find the coefficient of variation. Now see, for coefficient of variation, first you need S and X bar. As per this information, can I say X bar will be equal to A plus sigma Di upon N. S will be equal to square root of sigma Di square upon N minus sigma Di upon N whole square, and then CV S upon X bar into 100. Direct formula is to be applied, all the values are directly given. So solve it on it. Okay, direct formulas are to be applied. Anyone who did not understand this? All are clear with it? What is answers? Mean is 4.25, standard deviation is 1.63 and CV is 38.35%. Who all are solving it still? Completed first. Completed everyone? Now exactly same way, 12th you did right now, 13th also I am discussing is formula based only. Look at question 13 be attended. Sum of 10 observations is 80 and sum of their squares is 800. Raise your hand. What is 10, what is 80 and what is 800? Sum of 10 observations is 80. So raise your hand. What is 10 and what is 80? Sum of their squares is 800. What is that? 10 observations. Yes. 10 observations is 8. Now sum of 10 observations is 80 means sigma xi is 80. Sum of observations is what? Sum of observations sigma xi. And what is sum of their squares? Sigma xi square. Did you understand the information everyone? Sum of 10 observations is 80 means n is 10, sigma xi is 80. Sum of their squares means sigma xi square is 800. Raise your hand now. What formula will you apply for X bar? Again CV is asked. What is asked? Find the coefficient of variation. Raise your hand. What formula will you apply for X bar? Adarshi? Sigma xi upon n. Raise your hand. What formula will you apply for standard deviation? Khushbu?
Sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi square upon n whole square.
And then CVS upon X bar into 100. Start solving it. Again, it is formula based only. Completed? Getting these answers? Now, look at section E. Question 6. Mark it, very important. Some part of that we did in last chapter, and some part of that extra now we do it in this chapter. So look at the question. For a sequence of 100 observations, so we can say n is equal to 100. The mean and standard deviation are 40 and 10 respectively, means X bar is 40 and S is 10. Okay, mean and standard deviation are 40 and 10 respectively, so X bar is 40, S is 10. In calculating these measures, Two observations were taken as 30 and 70 instead of 3 and 27. Which are the correct ones? Instead of 3 and 27 means 3 and 27 are the correct ones. And we have taken the two observations as 30 and 70 means they are the wrong ones. Do you remember this type of question we did in last chapter also at the end, last lecture? So write down the observations. Correct are 3 and 27. The wrong ones are 30 and 70. Now they say find the corrected mean and corrected standard deviation. Corrected mean we studied in the last chapter. What extra we have to do here is corrected standard deviation. For corrected mean, raise your hand. What was the first step we did? For corrected mean, we have done it in the last chapter. So first what we do in corrected mean? To find the correct mean, what will you do first? Raise your hand. Kushbu?
X bar is equal to sigma xi upon n.
So from that what will we find?
Sigma xi.
Correct. Applying the formula of x bar first we'll get sigma x. Write down. X bar equals to sigma x upon n. So x bar we will put how much? 40. Sigma x we have to find. What is n? 100. So 140 will get multiplied, means sigma x will be 40 into 100, that is 4000. But this is wrong. Means our answer is right. But sigma x is wrong because two observations instead of 3 and 27 we have taken 30 and 70. So this is actually, raise your hand, what next? Robin?
minus 30.
Then? Looks like popcorn is going on. Microwave. Yes? But it?
Minus 30 and minus 10.
That's
And add the correct one.
yes, we studied this in last chapter. That wrong observations you will minus and correct you will add, because this is wrong total. In doing this total we have taken 30 and 70 instead of 3 and 27. So 30 and 70 excluded, minus it. And 3 and 27 included means you will add it. So write down correct. Sigma xi is equal to 4000 is the wrong one. From that we'll minus the wrong observations 30 and 70, and we will add the correct observations 3 and 27.
390.
Did you understand this? So 3930. Raise your hand, what next? Now the next step is very simple. Jen,
So corrected mean factor.
now we'll find the correct mean sigma x upon, and then we'll take the correct values now. So correct x bar is equal to, again we'll apply the formula sigma x upon n. 3930 divided by, what is n? Will n remain 100 or change? 100. Why same? Because we are subtracting two observations and we are also adding 2. So n will remain 100 only. So 39.3. Did you all understand this? Any confusions? Now, corrected standard deviation, what is the procedure? Same 3 steps. Listen. Applying the formula of x bar we got. Now we apply the formula of standard deviation and we get sigma x square. Now we'll apply the formula of standard deviation and we'll obtain sigma x square. First step. But that will be the wrong one. Because two observations are taken 30 and 70 instead of 3 and 27. Now what will you do? How will you find correct sigma x square? First step is same. Applying x bar we got sigma x. Applying standard deviation you will get sigma x square. How will you find correct sigma x square after that? Chill. Once you get sigma x square, that is the wrong one. How will you get the correct one? Anyone else? Domain?
So squaring your value.
Yes. From sigma x square, you'll minus 9, so you'll add 9 and 729 and you'll subtract 900 and 4900. 3 square will be 9, 27 square 729, 30 square 900, 70 square. But in sigma x square, these values will be included. So whatever sigma x square we get from that, we'll minus the wrong ones, 900 and 4900, and we'll add the correct ones, 9 and 729. And after that, we'll apply the formula of standard deviation again with the correct values. So same 3 steps. First, applying standard deviation, we'll get sigma x square. From sigma x square, you'll minus wrong squares and you'll add correct squares. You'll get correct sigma x square. And then you'll reapply the formula of standard deviation with correct values. Do you understand this? So, first let us apply the formula of standard deviation and find sigma x square. Let us S equals to sigma x square upon n minus sigma x upon n whole square. Yes, Manish? S equals to square root of sigma x square upon n minus sigma x upon n whole square. What will you put in S? 10. It is already given. What will we put in sigma x square? Nothing. That is what we will find. Upon what will we put in n? 100. Minus. Now what is sigma x upon n? X bar? What is sigma x upon n? So can I write x bar here? Any confusion in this? Now 10 equals to square root of sigma xi square upon 100 minus, what is x bar? Will we take 40 or will we take 39.3? Okay, tell me, 10 is the correct standard deviation or the wrong?
Wrong.
So wrong x bar. Which x bar you will take?
40.
In calculating 10, what would have been included is 40. Okay, 10 is the wrong standard deviation. So in calculating 10, which x bar would have been included? 40. Did you understand this? Now what will we do to cancel this square root? Instead of squaring both the sides, we get left side 10 square will become 100. Right side square root will get cancel. So sigma xi square upon 100 and 40 square is 1600. Understood this? Raise your hand. What next? Raise your hand. What next? Sing. 100 will go other side. So 100 into 100. This mistake should not be done. Is it whole upon 100? If it is whole divided by 100, then only 100 into 100 will become 10,000. Here you cannot do 100 into 100. Did you understand why we cannot do 100 into 100? When can we do 100 into 100? When it is whole upon 100. So raise your hand. What will be the next step? Adarshi? Yes, minus 1600 on the left side will become plus. Add 100 plus 1600 equals to sigma xi square upon 100. So 1700 equals to sigma xi square upon 100. Raise your hand next. Rekha? Yes, will get multiplied. So sigma xi square equals to 1700 into 100, 1,70,000. Did all of you understand this? But this is wrong. Okay, means it is wrong sigma xi square because two observations are taken 900 and 4900 instead of 9 and 729. Now same procedure. Wrong squares we will minus and correct squares we will add. So correct sigma xi square equals to 1,70,000 minus 900 minus 4900 plus 9 plus 729. 164938. Got it, everyone? And now we will apply the formula of standard deviation with the correct values again. Okay, you reapply the formula of standard deviation with the correct values. So write down therefore correct standard deviation is equal to square root of sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. So square root of, now which sigma xi square we will take? 164,938 upon what is n? 100. Now what is the sigma xi upon n? We can say x bar. So square root of 1649.38 minus, now which x bar you will take here? Now you will take the correct one. You are finding correct standard deviation, means you will take 39.30. 39.30 square. To 39.30 square is 1544.49. So square root of 104.89 is it 10.24? Do you all get this answer? Any confusions? So very important question, okay? Finding the correct mean and correct standard deviation is a very important question. Now, one last note will come in the summary. Understand that note first. Do you remember regarding origin and scale, what note did we study in central tendency? Origin means plus minus, scale means multiplication and division. What note did we study in central tendency chapter regarding this? Don't turn the pages, you must remember. We studied that all the measures of central tendency are affected by the change of origin and scale. They are affected means if any number is added, subtracted, multiplied or divided by all the numbers, all the observations, then mean, median, mode, quaternions, resize, percentage, everything, they also get added, subtracted, multiplied or divided by the same number. But in dispersion, this point is slightly different. All the measures of dispersion are affected by change of scale. Scale means multiplication, division, but not affected by change of origin. What do you mean by origin? Addition and subtraction. Not affected by plus and minus, they are affected only by multiplication and division. Means, if any measure of dispersion, say standard deviation is 6, if you add 2 in all the observations, then standard deviation will remain same, will not be affected, 6 only. Whereas in mean, what happened? If mean is 6, then you add 2 in all observations, mean will become 6 plus 2, 8, but standard deviation will not be affected, it will remain same. If you minus 3 from all the observations, then standard deviation will remain 6 only, but mean would become 6 minus 3, but it is affected by multiplication and division. Means if all observations are multiplied with 2, then standard deviation will become 6 into 2. If all observations are divided by 3, then standard deviation becomes 6 divided by 3, 2. Multiplication and division will affect, but plus minus will not affect. All the measures of dispersion, not only standard deviation, range, quantile deviation, mean deviation also. So in the summary, write down this important note. Understood this, everyone? Now page 168, next question 7 of section D is based on this property. One of that I do on the board, then others you try on your own. See that? The total cost function of a factory Y is equal to 10 plus 3x. Now tell me, 10 plus will it affect?
No.
This part will not affect any measure of dispersion. Okay? 3 into all observations are multiplied with 3, so all dispersions will get multiplied with 3. Now they say, when x is number of units produced and y is the total cost of producing x units, the range, that is R, quartile deviation, that means QD, mean deviation, that means MD, and standard deviation, that means S, of daily production of factory are 50, 5, 8 and 10, and they are of x. They are all of the variable x. Find the range, quartile deviation, mean deviation and standard deviation for total cost y. Now listen everyone. Range of y, as I said, 10 plus will not make any difference, but 3 into x will make or not?
Yes.
So it will become 3 into 50, 150. Same way, what will be the quartile deviation of y now? What will be the quartile deviation of y now in the same manner? 3 into 5, 50. Mean deviation 3 into 8, 24. Standard deviation 3 into 10, 30. Do the remaining 3 on your own. So 10 plus does not make any difference, but multiplying with 3, all the measures of dispersion will get multiplied with 3. Got it, everyone? Completed this? Any doubts in this? So quartile deviation of y will be 3 into 5, 15. Mean deviation of y will be 3 into 8, 24. And standard deviation of y will be 3 into 10. All up there with this, plus will not make any difference, but multiplying with 3, all dispersions will get multiplied with. Okay. And the last question, what I'm going to do in the class for this chapter. After that, I will just discuss few points. Okay. That last question concept, what is remaining? Section F. Question 2. That is the last concept remaining. Section F of exercise 4, page number 169. Question 2. Mark that as again important question and the last point remaining in this chapter. Yes, we are ready now. Find the percentage of observations lying within the limits and then limits x bar plus minus s using the following distribution of credit days taken by merchants. Can I say credit days means xi? And number of merchants means fi. Okay. Now x bar plus minus s limit we will find. Means first of all x bar and s will have to be obtained. For finding x bar and s we need the working of fi xi and fi xi square. How do you find fi xi square? Fi xi into s. So write down the values of xi and fi, everyone. Shall we proceed? You'll use the memory functions. Okay? So do it. 12 into 5 m plus, do you get 60?
Yes.
13 into 10 m plus 130. 14 into 25 m plus 350. 65 into 15 m plus 975. 45 into 16 m plus 720. 35 into 17 m plus 595. 18 into 8 m plus 144. And 19 into 7 m plus 333. Sorry, 130. Is everyone clear with this? Press the mark. 3107. Any confusions with this? And how do you find fi xi square? Fi xi into xi means these two are going to be multiplied. 60 into 12 is 720. 130 into 13, 1690. 350 into 14, 4900. Is it?
Yes, sir.
975 into 15, 14625. Are you putting it in M plus?
Yes.
16 into 720, 11520. 595 into 17, 10115. 144 into 18, 2592. And 133 into 19, 2527 plus MR.
Okay, but that's the sort of
4868 4864
Sir, 49 आता है
689. Yes, silence everyone. This is 5, 15, 40, 105, 150, 180, 90, 200. Is everyone clear with this? Now first we'll find x bar and s. So write down x bar equals to sigma fi xi upon n means 3107 upon 200. See a sigma fi xi 3107. Do you all understand this? And upon n is the total of frequency, that is 200.
$15.55.
15.54, 53 so 54. Then standard deviation square root of sigma fi xi square upon n minus sigma fi xi upon n whole square. So square root of sigma fi xi square is 48689 upon n is 200 total of fi minus sigma fi xi is 3107 upon n is 200 whole square. Now 48689 upon 200, so 243.45 minus 3107 upon 200, 15.54 square. 243.45 minus, what is 15.54 square?
49.
Yes, 4 decimals you have to take. So 243.45 minus 241.4916. Square root of 1.4 954?
Yes. 15.54 square. 241.496. Yes, silence everyone. Now what is square root of 1.1954? So 1.40? Yes.
After 39, what is the next digit?
9.
So 1.40. Now put your pens down. So x bar and s, all of you have understood this. Now see what is asked in the question, limits of x bar plus minus s. Now understand how to do this. First of all, can I say x bar plus minus s means x bar minus s to x bar plus s? Limits of x bar plus minus s means from x bar minus s to x bar plus s. What is x bar? 15.54 minus s 1.42. What is x bar again? 15.54 plus s 1.4 means 14.14 to 16.94. This is the limit we will find. Put it down. X bar plus minus s means from x bar minus s to x bar plus s. X bar minus s 15.54 minus 1.40 to x bar plus s 15.54 plus 1.40. So 14.14 to 16.94. Now raise your hand. Which observations belong to this limit? Between 14.14 to 16.94. 15 and 16, that's it. 14 is less than 14.14. It does not come in between these two. 17 is greater than 16.94. It does not come between these two. Which observation? What is the question asked? Percentage of observations within x bar plus minus x. Means we have to find out which are the observations between x bar plus minus x. So in this limit, which are the observations? Only 15 and 16. That means how many observations? Not 210. 15 is occurring 65 times. 16 is occurring 45 times. So what are the number of observations within x bar plus minus s? 65 plus 45, 100. There are total 200 observations. So out of 200, only 2 are not between these. Out of 200, how many are there? 100. Any confusion? Now again, the question is not number of observations in this, percentage. So same thing, if you have to convert it percentage, then can I say 110 divided by 200 into 100? How much did we get? 110 observations. What are the total number of observations? So how will you convert it to percentage? 110 upon 200 into 100. 55% of observations are in the range of x bar plus minus s. Did you understand this portion, everyone? Complete. It's an important question. Okay, it's a new concept in one. Raise your hand who did not understand it and wants me to explain it again. Anyone who is not clear with this? Shall I continue now? Now listen, everyone. Certain remaining questions I am discussing it and will be doing in homework. Concepts are all covered in the class. So just be attentive how to solve those questions. Okay? Like look at next page. Question 7. This kind of question we have done earlier also. Next page, question 7. The marks obtained by two students A and B in 10 sets of examinations are given below. Sets is of no relevance. Marks of A and marks of B are given below. That which student is more consistent? More consistent means what relation with CV? Consistent. Consistent will have what relation with CV? inverse. Consistency, reliability, uniformity, stability will have inverse. So which student will be more consistent whose CV is less? If you remember, we did one such question. You'll fold the page and divide it in two parts. You're given xi, so you'll find xi square. And then you'll apply the formula of x bar, standard deviation and CV. We have done this kind of question. Okay, so this is which question, section F? 7. Any confusion in that? Okay, exactly same way. Look at section E's question 5. I'm just discussing the workings how you make, and later on you can copy it down so that you understand how to solve it. Section E question F. Goals of two teams are given to you. And again, what is asked, and then which team is more consistent? So again, consistency means what relation? Inverse. Whosoever CV is less. Now here xi is going to remain common. That is number of goals scored. And number of football matches of A means, can I say frequency of team A? So for team A, you'll make the working of FIXI and FIXI square also. And for team B, same way, what workings you'll make? FI is given, FIXI, FIXI. What will remain common for both the teams? X. What formula you'll apply for x bar? Here sigma xi upon n, sigma FIXI upon n. Then standard deviation, square root sigma xi square upon n minus sigma xi upon n whole square. Square root sigma FIXI square upon n minus sigma FIXI upon n whole square. CV both the places s upon x bar into 100. And wherever CV comes less is more consistent. Same way section F, question 8. The following are the distribution of weights for the students of group A and B. Find out the coefficient of variation of each group and which group has a greater relative variation. Now, greater variation means direct relation or inverse? Direct. Whosoever CV is more. But your classes are given. So understand the workings how you make here. Classes are given, so can I say mid value will also be common for both? And according to mid value, DI will also be common for both. So first we'll make these three columns. Then group A, you are given with FI. So you'll find FI DI square. Then for group B, again you are given with FI. So you'll find FI DI and FI DI square. This workings will make. Now what formula you will apply for x bar? Continuous frequency distribution. X bar A plus sigma FI DI upon n into C. Then for standard deviation, square root sigma FI DI square upon n minus sigma FI DI upon n whole square outside the square root into C. And then for CV, S upon x bar into 100. And wherever you get more CV is having more relative variation. Did you understand this? So this workings for three questions you can copy it down and practice it on your own. Okay. We have done already this type of questions. Look at question 4 on the previous page. Can you see less than type is given? First you'll convert it into continuous. And then you'll apply the same workings and rules. Xi, Di, Fi, Di and CFI. For example, less than 10 means first class will be 0 to 10. Then 10 to 20, 20 to 30, up till 60 to 70. Frequency from last 200 minus 179, 179 minus 142 and so on. And exactly same as 6th. Can you see everywhere less than? So their class 0 to 100, 100 to 200 and so on up till 700 to 800. And frequency 230 minus 222 at the bottom. Then 222 minus 202 and so on. And after that the workings will remain same. Okay. And the last final illustration, there is one illustration which I have to discuss. See, other than these three questions in homework, you'll do illustration 26 and 27, they are important ones. Look at illustration 26 that I have to discuss. The following results are obtained on the basis of daily wages paid to two workers of firm A and B. Illustration 26, page 158. Can I say number of workers means N1 is 20 and N2 is 30? Mean daily wages means X1 bar is 250 and X2 bar is 400. And standard deviation means S1 is 10 and S2 is 12. You'll also obtain S1 square and S2 square. Now what is the first question asked? Which firm is paying more? And then total daily wages and write down sigma xi. Can I say total daily wages means sigma xi? Now see here, x bar is sigma xi upon n. So what will be sigma xi? If we bring n on the other side, x bar into n. See, that is what they have done in the first answer. Next page. How did they find total wages of firm A? N1, x1 bar. And how did they find total wages of firm B? N2, x2 bar. Where do you get higher answer? Firm B 12,000, and then you have to conclude that firm B pays more amount of total wages. Previous page, what is the second question asked? Determine which firm shows more variation. More variation means direct relation. Whosoever CV is more, you'll find CV of A, S upon X bar into 100, 10 upon 250 into 100. Then you'll find CV of B, 12 upon 400 into 100. And wherever you find more CV, that firm has more variation. And third question we practiced today. Find the combined mean and combined standard deviation. That we practiced today. So combined mean and combined standard deviation can be obtained. It's an important question. Okay, illustration 26, 27 and these three questions. Now when will you show these homeworks? When you have the test of statistics on that day, last test, 10th. Because as such for the test of statistics you have to practice it. So these homeworks will show on 10th of September. Okay. And let's see if exams get postponed and what is to be done, we'll message and inform you. But tomorrow's test is taking place from 2:30 to 4:30, business organization. Sorry, accounts. Tomorrow's test from 2:30 to 4:30 is taking place for accounts. Is everyone clear with it? Once anything is announced in schools, we'll make the changes accordingly. Bye everyone, best of luck.